The prongs slid in fast. Not deep enough to kill, just enough to make a point. I remember the sound before the pain, the faint scrape of metal against bone. My sister's smirk. My mother's laugh. My father's voice, flat and cold. "Don't bleed on her plate, it's worth more than you." I didn't cry, didn't flinch. I pulled the fork out slowly, set it down beside her plate, and wiped my shoulder with the hem of my shirt. Then I sat back, silent, watching. They thought they'd won because I didn't respond. They didn't understand. I was cataloging. Back then, I still believed family meant protection. Even when they mocked me, I thought there was love buried somewhere under the cruelty. I defended them to others, told myself they were just old-fashioned or rough around the edges. But cruelty that repeats becomes ritual, and ritual becomes identity. I was 16 when I stopped defending them. The shift was quiet, invisible, like a candle snuffed out in a windowless room. I started taking mental notes instead. Every insult, every laugh at my expense, every time my sister took what was mine and my parents backed her. I didn't know yet what I'd do with it, only that I would do something. The moment of clarity came 3 years later. It was my sister's engagement party, lavish, gold everywhere. The kind of event where people whispered "power couple" between sips of champagne. She'd landed a wealthy fiancé, a banker with a spotless reputation and an even cleaner record. At least, that's what he thought about her too. I was standing near the bar when I saw her, alone for a moment, checking her phone. The screen tilted just enough for me to catch a glimpse. A man's face, not her fiancé's. Messages below it, explicit. And suddenly the fork in my shoulder came back to me. My father's voice, my mother's laughter. The years of humiliation clicked into place like a lock turning. This was it, my opening. I didn't confront her. I didn't confront anyone. I went home that night and started digging. I already knew she was reckless. Now I just needed proof that could shatter her life, and by extension, theirs. 2 weeks of work gave me more than I'd hoped for. She wasn't just cheating, she was embezzling, skimming funds from the boutique she co-owned with my mother. The bank transfers were small enough to slip past notice, but over time, they added up to a felony. It was almost too easy. The plan was surgical. First, I set up an anonymous email to her fiancé. Screenshots, bank records, hotel receipts. No note. Just the evidence. Let him draw his own conclusions. Second, I sent a separate packet to the other co-owner of the boutique, my mother's business partner. The kind of man who would sell his own blood for a cleaner reputation. I knew he'd take it straight to the police to distance himself. Third, I leaked the affair photos to a gossip blog. Not under her name, of course, just enough detail for the pieces to connect later, once the arrests and breakup hit. And finally, the quietest step, I called the tax office. Told them there might be discrepancies in my parents' filings. Gave them dates, amounts, and account numbers. It was a single domino. I knew the rest would fall. When it all came crashing down, I didn't even have to be there. Her fiancé called off the wedding, first, publicly, in front of her friends. Then the police showed up at the boutique. My mother screamed at the officers like they'd personally betrayed her. My father tried to smooth it over, but once the tax agents got involved, even he couldn't bluff his way out. By the end of the week, the business was frozen. By the end of the month, their assets were under investigation. Everything they'd built, gone. The climax came on a rainy Tuesday. I was in a cafe near the courthouse when they walked in. My parents, pale and tight-lipped, and my sister trailing behind them like a ghost. They didn't see me, but I saw them. And for the first time, I didn't feel small. I never told them it was me. I didn't need to. Revenge isn't about confession. It's about balance. They gave me years of humiliation, of being told I was worth less than a piece of cutlery. I gave them silence, patience, and ruin. And as I watched them disappear into the gray rain, I finally understood something. I didn't just take their money, I took their certainty. The belief that I was powerless. Now, they know better.